Welcome everyone to Mobile Rolling. We're actually here at Hollywood Plaza at Jive Cafe. And I was in here for a coffee to see Tony Vizanaris. Of course, they have the Beach Pit on Brighton Road, and they also have Jive Cafe here at Hollywood Plaza. And Tony said, guess what, Jimmy? South Australia's leading trainers in the crowd. So we're going to grab him after the break. Well, speaking of South Australia's leading trainer, Ryan Rahurick, welcome back to Mobile Rolling. How are you, mate?
Yeah, going well, Jim, yourself?
Yeah, really good, really good. Now, I want to touch on you as far as South Australia's leading trainer. I mean, the season's not over yet, but you've got the lead for your 7th consecutive trainer's title. I mean, that's a lot of hard work, a lot of good work. You're not home and hosed yet because Shane Lean just keeps chipping away at you, but at this stage, you know, you've got horses coming in that you think will get you through to take the title?
Yeah, we've got a couple of nice 3-year-olds kicking around and a little 2-year-old, which I quite have a good opinion of, Black Top Rock.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got a couple of better ones kicking around, which hopefully might get us over the line. But look, it's something that, if it happens, it happens. You certainly, every time you put one on the track, you certainly put it out there to go as good as you can. It's just one of those things that if it eventuates, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I haven't been able to eat one of the trophies yet. It doesn't put food on the table.
Yeah. I want you to win this season because otherwise, if you lose, Matt McGuire will say, well, see, he didn't have me this season and he didn't get the premiership. But he's been a big part of the team.
Yeah, good point. It probably adds a little bit more pressure and it probably strives me a little bit more, actually.
Yeah.
But no, for sure, he's been there for a long time of it, a long part of it, being a long part of it for a long time. So, yeah, it's been, he's going well himself and, we're just doing what we've been doing for the last, 7 seasons.
Yeah. Now, I want to take a few steps back to that. I want to tell you that we have noticed that you've stepped out on your own and become South Australia's leading trainer, but there's a lot of work before that got you to that stage where you branched out on your own. I mean, even before that, you were part of the Aaron Brown team. And, of course, he was one of 5 only trainers so far since the turn of the century to train 100 winners in a season. Jeffrey Webster did it a couple of times, Ross Sugars, Aaron Brown, and I think you were part of the team when he did it to get 100 winners, Les Harding, and also John Kingston Main. So is that one of your targets to try and get 100 winners in a season?
Not sure which season it was, but one of the seasons I trained 99.
Yeah.
And we had Star Brutus in, who was quite a nice horse at the time, and he was a short price favourite. And, it probably wasn't entirely my fault, but managed to lock wheels a lap to go. And one of our number one owners said, there's always next year, but it's going to be terribly hard to do going forward under this new system, that's for sure. So, it was pretty disappointing to get so close. No one wants to get bowled out on 99, but anyway, we managed to do it.
Now, let's go back to the start. I mean, your father, John, who's passed a couple of years now, right?
Actually, you wouldn't believe it, Jim. It was 5 years ago last week. Yeah, crazy, mate. Time flies. Yeah.
And that's where the foundation was made with your dad, helping your dad out. Do you remember how old you were when you first started getting involved?
I just loved it. From day dot, I used to ride my push bike at the trials and watched to do the trial form. My brother was driving at the time and he was sort of forced into it. He never loved it. And, he'd be going on the track and I'd be saying, mate, this one's trialled really good. You need to be doing this. And then when I come on the scene, he sort of, gave it away and, was born into it. And, unfortunately, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. You can't do much about it.
You got no aspirations to do anything else bar training and driving horses?
No, not really. Unfortunately, I'm not too much any good at anything else, so I'm sort of stuck for a fair way now, I would have thought.
Yeah. Recently I interviewed you on the radio, on Radio Tab, and you said to me, look, Jimmy, I'm not as passionate about driving now. I want to really concentrate on the training side of things, which gives you a little bit more satisfaction. Is that what you're really starting to aim towards?
I'm not sure if passion's the right word. It just doesn't faze me if I'm not out there or not, which is probably a better way. Certainly still enjoy it. And every now and then you just might drive an okay race and think, maybe I should need to be out here. I know my wife certainly doesn't want me to give it away, that's for sure. She pushes pretty hard for me to be out there. Yeah, so look, I still enjoy doing it, that's for sure. But it doesn't, the training side, I get a big kick out of doing good jobs with horses, that's for sure.
I'm on Kerry Ann's side. I don't want you to stop driving either, because basically, in particular, I mean, leading up to this interview, in late 2020, some of your drives in the trotters races, spectacular. I mean, you were instrumental in getting those trotters to win their respective races, and I'm talking about horses like Southern Alps, who's a feisty type of animal that you drive for Jeremy Sill, Cheval's racer, he won one night when it was purely and simply your drive that got it home. Truscott Hall, horses like that, and I think you add to that. So if you can do both, just keep doing both.
Yeah, for sure, and it's just a combination. And when you train your horse and you know them so well at home, and you can sort of know what they do in the race, it certainly helps. So yeah, we won't be giving up in the
no. Do you think driving the pony races, like being little trotters, helps you with driving trotters at a higher standardbred level?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think when you get to an age, when you're getting late, when you're nearly finishing the ponies and you start to drive the trotters, you just you want the ponies to go faster and faster. So it's a bit detrimental to them. But yeah, a lot of very good drivers all come through the ponies, that's for sure.
Yeah. I want to turn back to your dad because that's where it's all started. What do you think were some of the pivotal points that he taught you as a young man to help progress you?
He had an amazing ability to get a horse really fit, but never drill it or want to make it run fast. And what I mean by that is, I go back to Repellum, her first ever trial, and she never run a quarter quicker than 30. And I said, Dad, it won't keep up. You haven't done enough work with it. And he said to me, she's done plenty of miles. He said, she'll be right. And she went and trialled very good. And towards the end, when he was pretty sick, and I was working her, and she was in on a Saturday night, and it was a Wednesday, and he said, you've got to go and... He used to work him intervals at that time, and he said, you've got to go and work her 6 halves, start at about 10 or 12, work her down slowly, and then ask her to roll the last one. And I did that and got the last one and really asked her to work up and run a half in 63 and a quarter in 30 and was flat with the boards. And he was I was in hospital at the time. Yeah. And I went back to him and said, Dad, I said, something's not right. I said, just run 63 and 30 and it was flat out. He looked at me and he goes, she'll win. He said, that's a really good hit out for her. He said he just knew her so well. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, he had an amazing ability to get one fit and not really have to work it or race the clock or work to the clock. Yeah. And when he was still here, he used to say to me all the time, oh, you work them horses too hard, you're working too hard. So it's certainly something that I've taken on board, that you don't have to be drilling them and racing the clock all the time.
Yeah. And another area from your father, like you learnt that all your foundation, then you branched out. Was it there went from Dad to Aaron Brown? Or
yeah, so I sort of had a few on my own when we were just sort of working a couple and they weren't much good. And then Aaron Brown was probably the first starting point where I started to go and work for him, and then I had a couple with him that I was working on my own at the time who were very, very good horses. And then it sort of started from there. Paul Brumby had a horse, and he sort of come to me, and I said, oh, look, I've probably got too many, to give it to Aaron. And Aaron trained it, and then I think I sort of got to 5, and Aaron said, well, he's probably sort of getting too many, the sort of work for me or go out on your own. And we decided to sort of branch out on our own. So that's sort of where it started. Okay. And then we were very, very lucky in regards to, just as we decided to go out on our own, Aaron decided to have a crack in Sydney, and we moved into Jeffreys, and then it sort of stemmed from there. Yeah. So, we started, I think, when we decided to part ways, I think I started with 8 or 10 horses. It was just Magoo and myself, and I think we're working 25 now. So,
So then you had to entwine the working on the sand and what you learnt from your dad to gel it all together to come up with the right combination of a training program.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. You can have a perfect system, and if something's not quite right in the system that works, it can really throw everything out. And it was a huge turnaround. We went from working in the sand to obviously going home where we are now with the track that's got a slightly raised uphill. So we had to change a lot, and it took me a fair while to get it right. So we tinker with it now and then, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Do you think now you've got it where, and obviously you've got to do one training program for one horse different to another. You have to work them out and they have to work you out. But do you think you've got it now where you're reasonably confident that you can, with your variations, you can...
Yeah, there's certainly variations. They all don't do the same thing, that's for sure. They all do different stuff. So, we tend to try and read the horse and tell us what it does best and tinker with it through the preparation and try and work out what suits them.
Yeah. All right, we've got Southern Cross coming up in November. What are some of the horses that you're going to be targeting for the Southern Cross that punters should be looking at?
I think Wapinga Lad's a special horse. He has he's quite stylish. And
what about his win? Like held up, no run, and you were able to use his speed first up when he couldn't get clear.
He may coming out, but Danny stayed in and still not getting out, and just read my mind off the track. Machiavelli going as good as anything, top of the front straight. Johnny's Grange going for a sprint lane. Mark Billinger going for 3, starting to make ground. Then in turn, Wapinga Lad comes right down the outside. He's still got to get up. Wapinga Lad come over the top of 1. Beat Johnny's Grange.
It gave me a thrill to win. What gave you a thrill?
I thought to myself, and it's funny because when you're in a race, you don't really understand or get, you might drive a horse and go, geez, it was a big run. And then you go home and watch a replay. And during the run before I got home, I felt like I got out at the top of the straight. When I went home, it was like still halfway up a straight. I had to pull him sideways. So look, he's a really nice horse. I have a big opinion of Sports Chronicle if we can iron out a few of his nasty habits.
Yeah. So yesterday he raced.
Yeah.
I mean, here we are Tuesday doing this. He raced yesterday. He galloped. What was the reason for galloping?
Look, he's been a headache from day one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any confidence of driving through from behind. And he's one of those horses, he doesn't actually touch when he drives through from behind, but he thinks he's going to. And when he does that, he just bails out.
Yep.
So look, I've got a few things in mind to try and help him, and I'm sure that we'll get him back to where he was his first 2 runs, that's for sure.
Does he have those issues at home or only in races?
Yeah, so look, from day one, he's always done it.
Yep.
But the last 2 preparations, he's been fine at home and never put a foot wrong. So where we're at now, he just needs to go to the races and to be doing it, because at home he's fine.
So the penny's just got to drop.
Yeah, that's right. And he's just a big baby. He doesn't know how to go. You've got to tell him how to go, but then you've got to be looking after him because you're worried about him jumping out of his gear. So yeah, he's a work in progress.
Yeah. Other horses for the Southern Cross, you think?
Yeah, Son of Racing's a nice horse. He's got a few sort of issues. His first run was terrific. His next 2 are probably a little bit below par for him, but still good.
Yep.
So he's a 3-year-old, but it's a cracking 3-year-old boys year. It is. There are some. I reckon I could list 8 off the top of my head that are really, really nice.
They're all going to go to fast.
Yeah,
class.
mate. Yeah. I think Blacktop Rock's heading in the right direction. I really like him. He's taken a step up this preparation. He's sort of learned how to race a little bit. So. So I reckon they're the main ones. Just a bit of Heaven's probably got to lift their game a little bit, but the girls aren't as strong as the boys this year. So we're still hoping for her.
Yeah, she'll earn a check.
Yeah, she has, and she always runs honest.
Yeah, that's good. Now, here we are at Jive Cafe. What do you know of Tony Vizanaris? How did you get to meet him? How come you're having a coffee at Jive Cafe?
Well, we talk about Jeffrey Webster. We stem back from when Tone was a squirter for Jeffrey. That's how far we go back. Yeah. So, many, many years. Yeah. And he owns a share in Sports Chronicle.
I was going to say, does he own horses with you, and has he in the past?
Yeah, it's always been one here or there. So, like I said, hopefully this one can be the best one.
Well, if you get Sports Chronicle home, you'll get a free copy.
Yeah, we might be able to get something out of him.
Brian, you obviously want to keep training and driving. You've lost Matt Maguire. You've got Sam Pascoe there helping you now as part of the team. Are you going to get high numbers like you used to have in training, or are you just going to keep it at a low figure?
Oh, it's very hard to find horses, to be honest, Jim. On this new system, we probably haven't had, there's no doubt we haven't had the turnover this year like we previously have.
Sure.
But we have gone big into the babies. I think we've probably got 6 or 8 sort of yearlings or just turned 2-year-olds in the old or the new. So we're hoping to generate some nice ones out of them rather than try and buy them.
You mentioned Paul Brumby earlier. I mean, he's a guy with his owners have often fed you horses, and you had to earn it because, like, you often get horses that didn't have very good form, and you'd have to grow those horses. But I mean, it seems like there's a low supply of that happening now.
Yeah, for sure. So he just got really lost. We had a couple of really nice horses, and you can use Springfield Desire, for example. He was he's a nice horse, but when the new system rolled over, he got hammered, and he was like a 3-year-old that got to like a 60 rating before it actually rolled over because their numbers were rolling over before it did.
Yep.
So he just got on his mark too soon. And then we just went through a period of time going, well, what sort of horses are we looking for now under this new system? So I think he's got a bit of a grasp of what he wants to do now, and we have got a couple others along the way that we've bought. We've got a recent one that's probably race at Mildura next week.
Yep.
So it has really changed up my business for sure.
All right, give us 2 horses to follow out of the Ryan Roharick stable.
Yeah, I think Blacktop Rock.
Blacktop Rock looms up, takes a lead. Springfield Affairs the danger. Major Reason kicks back the inside. 30.7 third quarter. Survival of the fittest. Major Reason coming back at Blacktop Rock. 100 metres to go. Then Northern Terror. Springfield Affair late. Blacktop Rock's in front. Coming back Major Reason, but just misses. Well, that was a slugging go in the last. And getting home Blacktop Rock from
Waping Lad.
Working your lead and Blacktop Rock. There you go. There's Ryan Roharick, South Australia's leading trainer. A couple of horses to follow. Watch his horses through the Southern Cross. And welcome to Jive Cafe, Ryan. Let's go and have a beer now.
Sounds good.
There we go.